G'day. Today we're going to turn a Sierra pen, and I'm going to try and go through all the steps one by one from start to finish to show you how I drill it, sand it, put the tube in, turn it, finish it, all the good stuff for making a pen. So I'm going to try and keep it simple for you. We're going to use one of my pen blanks. It's box solder Burl. It's black with a pearl white. Pretty cool looking blank. Kit, like I said, it's a Sierra. It's just a chrome. Has the black hardware. To cut the blank, I have a little jig made up for my bandsaw. I'm not going to go through the process of taking you to the bandsaw. Watch you see me cut a piece of wood there, but essentially this is the jig here. Alright, it's my blank cutting jig. Pretty simple. It's got a slot or a guide for the slot on the bandsaw table. That's here. Where the bandsaw goes in. This here's my hold down. This is my gauge. Pretty simple. Open it up. Take the tube. Put it on that side. Slide the gauge across. Hold it in place. Make sure your tube doesn't move. You lock it down. Pen blank goes on this side. Cut your pen blank, and it's just a little bit longer than the actual tube that's over here in the jig. So I'm going to go cut that right now, and I'll be right back. So there's my two pen blanks. That's the piece of waste out of the middle. Not much. To drill these blanks out, two options. This jig here, there's a little clamp that fits on. Personally, when it first came out, I thought it was pretty slick. Now that I've had a chance to use it for a while, it doesn't hold the way I'd like it to, so I really don't use it anymore. I've opted to go with the one-way chuck, much more reliable. Got the spigot jaws on there, works like a charm. When you're clamping up a blank, and this is something that Jim Shaver showed me in Kitchener at the wood show. When you drill a hole, the thickest dimension is from the hole, edge of the hole to the edge of the blank is always in the corners. So if you're going to hold a pen blank, especially one where you're drilling a very big hole, you're better off to hold it on the corners, because when you squeeze down on it, there's more meat there to grab onto it with. If you grab it the other way, you're probably going to crush it as soon as you start going through with the drill. It's my drill chuck, number 2 Morris taper, actually number 3 Morris taper, sleeve, number 2 Morris taper on the actual drill chuck. Because of my lathe has a number 3 Morris taper, I have to have the adapter. Always clean the inside of your Morris tapers before you shove anything in there, as well as clean the Morris taper going into it. It's two machine surfaces. Anything that gets in there, you can do some pretty serious damage. Alright, get ourselves a drill bit. Lucky guess. Got it first shot. 27/64. I like to drill about 500 RPM. Doesn't matter what I'm drilling. Go 500. It's a nice drilling speed. If you get problematic pen blanks for drilling, my suggestion is to drill it from both ends. So you end up with a good hole going in from one end. You get wobble on the inside. If you keep going and come out the other end, you're going to end up with an oblong hole. You're also going to end up with a curved hole as well because of the flex of the drill bit. Drill halfway, take the blank out, turn it around, drill back in the other way. If they're really bad blanks for drilling, go with a pilot drill, drill in from one end, turn it around, drill in from the other end, leave the pen blank, and then drill the final hole all in one shot. Otherwise, if you do it with the one drill bit only, you have to switch end to end. You're going to hide the out of center, the concentricity, the ovality. You're going to hide that in the pen blank rather than see it at one end, and you'll notice that when you glue it up, when you put the tube in it as well. So anyway, now we have this drilled out nice and straight. Goes in nice and easy. If you're doing pen blanks where the resin is going to be fairly thin and you're going to have a chance of seeing through it, then I would suggest you paint the inside of the blank. After you paint the blank and it's dry, try your pen tube. If it doesn't fit, you can take an option is to have a stick cut with a slot with a little bit of sandpaper wrapped around it, running in and out of the hole, alright, while the blank's spinning. Low speed, clean it up, paint it again, try your tube again, right? The tube is the reference point for when you build the pen, so anything that you do with the blank, even if you put the blank on an angle when you put the tube in, the tube is the guiding factor, right? You're going to make it round and you're going to make it concentric to the tube. So we want to sand the tube up next. And that's what I use my expensive chuck for. It's the only useful thing left for it to do. Just grab onto it a little bit like that, not very tight. In here I have my base plate wax and a little piece of sandpaper. I believe it's a piece of 100 grit. Low speed, rough the tube up. So easy that came loose. So now we have our tube all sanded up. Bit of base plate wax. You can use potato for this. I'm not sure what else they're using. Basically just squeeze the tube in, fill it with the wax. Same thing. Fill the other end. Now your tube's ready to glue in your blank. This stuff's cheap. It's well worth it. Well worth the investment. There's I believe three sheets of wax come in it. You can get numerous pens out of that. Get some glue and we'll glue that in. I keep wax paper in my shop, lots of it. I always use wax paper. It's a nice thing is not much sticks to it. 5-minute epoxy. You're going to be playing with epoxy glue finishes. It's always nice to have some of these around. I have a little mixing stick and an applicating stick. Just a piece of dowel with a piece of metal rods glued in the end. Works great for spreading glue, right? Easy to look after. No solvents. I just paper towel, wipe it clean when I'm done with it. I just mix up my glue, epoxy, take a little bit, roll it around, shove it inside, and spread it. Turn both pieces. What you do is you create a wedge effect between the glue and between the wood and the applicator. So you spread it all around. Just take a look inside. It's all nice and shiny. Take a little bit of glue, end of the tube, put it in, and just roll it in. You see we ran out of glue on the outside, so that's why I always make a little extra. Applicator, take that excess glue, just run it around the tube. It even works like an insertion tool. Shove in the blank, or shove in the tube. Just make sure it's in just below the surface of the blank. Be careful on the other end. Any excess glue is just going to run out on you. Shoved it out accidentally. There. So there's the end. I pushed it in. There's the other end. Set it aside, let it dry, cure, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I sand it and prep it. But that's how I glue a tube in. Too much glue is better than not enough glue. So glue is cheap. We'll come back in about half an hour or so after that's set up and hardened, and we'll prep the blank and carry on.